Trump, during a recent interview, made a huge revelation when he mentioned that Pakistan has been secretly testing nuclear weapons. He also reiterated that the United States will resume its own nuclear testing to keep pace with other powers, including Russia, China, and North Korea. In an interview with CBS News' 60 Minutes on Sunday, Trump said that while the US had refrained from testing for over 3 decades, several countries, including Pakistan, continue to carry out underground nuclear trials away from global scrutiny. Trump's comments mark the first time a sitting US president has directly accused Pakistan of continuing nuclear testing. Listen in.
Russia's testing and China's testing, but they don't talk about it. You know, we're a open society. We're different. We talk about it. We have to talk about it because otherwise you people are going to report. They don't have reporters that are going to be writing about it. We do. No, we're going to test because they test and others test. And certainly North Korea's been testing. Pakistan's been testing.
North Korea, Pakistan, China, Russia. They've all been testing. We are also going to test. Lieutenant General D.P. Pandey should be joining us. Tilak Devasharji is with us along with Kulbir Krishna and Krishanji and also Anand Ranganathan. Namaste. Jayan sir. Tilakji, underground nuclear testing. Trump is confirmed. Pakistanis are quiet. Absolute silent mode. The first to jump to social media after Donald Trump are quiet right now.
It's really amazing, isn't it? You see, because you cannot say these are off-the-cuff remarks, maybe, but the President of the United States is briefed. He's given classified briefings. So he knows what he's talking about, and you cannot dismiss what he says as being uninformed. So clearly, Pakistan is today in violation of the commitments it had given after 1998, that it would, follow the provisions of the Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty, CTBT, and for God knows how long they've been testing. This has come now. So I think this put Pakistan in a very, very awkward position. And I think a lot of agencies, I'm not sure how the IMF is going to look at it, how the ADB in Washington and the World Bank are going to be looking at it, how the EU will be looking at it. That you stand in violation of your solemn promises about not testing. And Anand, how does India look at it? If Pakistan has been testing and upgrading the nuclear arsenal, it's not something that we can sit back and be in our comfort zone. So I think this is going to call for a lot of study and discussion within the Indian security establishment that how do we react to this and what manner do we react to this.
Well,
I think it's a very serious.
Tilakji, General Pandey is also with us. I'm just asking, is this a tacit endorsement from Trump? Then should it be seen that way? Or for long the Pakistanis have been waiting for Bharat to call him a liar. Now we're waiting for Pakistan to call him a liar.
I think firstly it's very strange that Trump, this entire thing about 17 minutes worth of stuff was actually censored and thereafter released, and it has now come out after some time. But there is one part. The second is that if he knew and they have not questioned Pakistan, ignoring again at the peril of the world, which is the norm which they do when it matters, then they look at it seriously and they talk about it. When it doesn't matter, then they look otherwise, because actually this so-called Islamic bomb by Pakistan was made under the watch and full knowledge of the Americans. So I think what Tilakji is saying, while it is right, but we have to also understand that the international world bodies and Americans play very conveniently as per the timelines and what suits them at any point of time. So they actually are not they are themselves not liable. And in case the Americans were not aware and he's now come to know of it, I think it's a big failure on their whole control mechanism, intelligence part, while it is a failure for us as well. But surely for the Americans who have actually taken control of being a watchdog over what's happening in Pakistan, and they got their intelligence agencies embedded all over the place and they did not know about it. So these two extremes are very uncomfortable. More uncomfortable is that I'm sure Tilakji will agree that we are well aware in the increase in numbers over about 20 years. While the last testing was done in 98, there has been not a moratorium in the sense that numbers will not increase. The numbers of nuclear arsenal have been increasing quite consistently over a period of time, and they have virtually, if I'm not wrong, they have doubled over last 20 years. I'll have to check up my facts and figures, but they have increased significantly, and they continue to work at increasing those numbers.
No, they bombed
So
Iran.
not a good scene.
No, but they bombed Iran because they said Iran is trying to, energize uranium and enrich uranium, and they are kept to a level where it can go beyond the capacity for that is required for power generation. But Kulbir Krishnji, will the Pakistanis call Trump a liar, or will they say what Trump says is gospel? It's true.
Oh, they are caught between a rock and a hard place. The fact is, if Trump is saying they've been testing weapons, I'm quite sure they've been testing. And most probably they've been testing it in China, in Xinjiang, because in Pakistan it is easy to detect, while China keeps on doing series of nuclear tests in Loknor or Xinjiang or in their testing grounds. And if they've been testing Pakistan, for example, Pakistan claims they have tactical nuclear weapons. So the tactical nuclear weapons must have been tested before they are used. And so where were they tested? So there's great credibility in what President Trump says, that yes, Pakistan has been testing. So the question is, if the Pakistan has been testing nuclear bombs, violating treaty obligations, then why is it not being punished? Why is the IMF giving dole after dole? You have to walk the talk. Now that you have said, Trump, of course, was justifying why they will resume nuclear testing. In fact, in our case, what had happened was that in one particular meeting, one of our nuclear scientists, Mr. Sultana, had said that we need more tests, and because we have only done computer simulation, we have not done real tests. But that itself became controversial, and India has never tested after 1998, or once we declared we are nuclear. But if the others are breaking the rules, I don't see why we should be sticking to the rules. We have also got to protect our weapons, and the inventory of all the countries, that is both India and Pakistan, North Korea, etc., has been increasing of nuclear weapons. That is, even CIPRI and others bring it out. So the fact remains that this is a very serious development, and the West must now walk the talk and punish Pakistan for doing nuclear tests in violation. We have never violated either the NPT or CTBT or any treaty which we have signed, and good behavior can be rewarded, in my view.
Was there a reason why we struck those air bases at that point in time at the opportune moment, and there was so much of shock and as if वो कहते हैं सांप consternation and सांप सूख गया था, होश उड़ गए सब, especially the Americans and the Pakistanis. Immediately the peace flag came. Was that something that Bharat knew, which Trump is spelling out now? But these questions are also fair. Why are rogue nations being engaged with and no sanctions on them and trade deals, etc.? Whereas pliant nations that walk the right path, are being sanctioned and taken up cudgels against. Dr. Ranganathan.
So Anand, couple of things. Just a small correction to the previous panelist. I think Tilakji, Pakistan is not a signatory to the CTBT. So the other nations are not obliged to
that was Kulbir Krishnji. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, and in fact, it's a very well thought out comment by Trump. I believe so, but it's ill-advised. Well, all his comments are ill-advised, or maybe they're not advised at all, because all the four nations that he speaks of, that he says are conducting nuclear tests, Pakistan, North Korea, Russia, and China, with the exception of China that has signed the Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty but not ratified it, none of the other three are signatories to CTBT. So it doesn't matter whether they conduct nuclear tests or not. But I'm aghast by this comment, because what that means is that these four major, some of them are major nuclear powers, are conducting, according to Trump, secret nuclear tests, and the world doesn't know about it. You have even the slightest whiff of a nuclear test conducted either underground, or obviously it would be underground or overground, and the very next minute you have various organizations in the West declaring that a nuclear test has been conducted. You saw what happened 11 years ago when North Korea decided to conduct one, and almost simultaneously, various earthquake monitoring organizations and other organizations were up in arms saying that, look, we have proof that this has happened. So how can all those organizations be silent in the face of tests conducted by these four nations? So I don't know what Trump has actually said. So because he said it, we now obviously have to, make some sense of what he said. And I think he sent it with a very, I would say, devious purpose, to be honest. As I said, Trump just cannot be trusted. He's made Pakistan as America's ally at the cost of India. And India has to wake up now, because if China, for example, as Trump says, has conducted these tests, China is a signatory to CTBT. Of course, it's not ratified it, but sanctions should have happened by now. I'm aghast that, you have the West who doesn't know or knows that China is conducting these tests, and still there are no sanctions. So, this actually goes back like a boomerang to the West, and questions have to be asked. And I think it falls in our favor. We, as our foreign policy experts and indeed our foreign minister, need to ask these questions, that if these nations are conducting nuclear tests, why is it that the West has been silent?
No, we'll stay with this only. The other question is, Tilak Devasarji, we should also go a little rogue then. It's not just enough about asking questions. We also need to push the buttons and tell the world that you can't get away with this kind of partisan approach.
No, like I said, Indian security establishment will now have to take a call that, in the light of what President Trump has said, you see, I mean, when you test, you are upgrading the impact of those nuclear weapons, right? If you already have them, you know the technology. But if you want to upgrade, then you'll probably be doing tests. But as Anand said, it's surprising that no institution that monitors earthquakes and seismic activity has been able to detect this. So are they all in cahoots?
Yeah.
Or these are some special kind of tests which are not detected by the present
The
seismic
Xinjiang seismic activity and the nuclear reactors and the plants there are satellite images that have come out. There have been exposes about this, and this is 23, 24, there has been. But what Kulbir Krishanji is saying is that Pakistan is in cahoots with China and they may be joint testing there. That's a revelation. And how is it that the Americans are not did not know about that? The other thing is,
but then if you knew about Chinese,
Yeah.
then how come there was no hue and cry, even in the International Atomic Energy Commission or any other organization, saying that how are you doing this, even though they may not have ratified the CTBT, yet there is a certain commitment.
Yeah,
Similarly with Pakistan, is not a signatory, but they took on certain commitments after 1998.
No, because is it that because with Pakistan, General Pandey, the money from IMF is going into the crypto deal, and with China, they've got so much of the American debt in their hands that they 1 month they didn't buy soya bean, and Trump reduced their tariff by 10%.
So Anand, we just had this conversation about last week or this Saturday, Sunday. Nice guys are punished, right? They are never rewarded. It is only the bad guys get rewarded. You look at the Chinese, the way they have been behaving with Trump. You saw the walk of Xi and Trump when they came out, how humiliated Trump was, the way he was, sort of dismissed at that gate, and everything fell in line for Xi and this thing. So is the case with Pakistan, and so is the case with Zelensky. So anybody who's bad and rogue is going to be rewarded by Trump administration. That is what one can be. But this was the case with the US administration always. But in this case, it is quite emphatically clear. Right. And coming on to this part, that yes, why was this intelligence not given? I think what Tilakji is, what Anand is saying, that we need to actually get on with our own testing, and it should be overt testing. It may not be liked, but at least some sort of a declaration must be happening. You asked a question about why did they punish Iran. I have a theory, it may be wrong, but please understand that Iran is a Shia. This thing. US has totally leaned onto Sunni establishment, thanks to the Saudi commitment and the tie which they've got for last about 70 to 80 years since the time petrodollar deal was signed, right? So Iran is the only exception in this entire region, not only for the nuclear part, but so many other manner. There are enough radical elements, including people like Qasim Munir and all moving around.
Right.
But yet the US administration continues to show, shake hands and, embrace them. So therefore, Iran will continue to be bashed up, but not Pakistan, who very clearly Trump has said that he, and I will like to believe, right, coming out and making such a statement out is not so easy. It cannot be just a slip of a tongue. He was very emphatic by taking these 4 names and very clear, and he paused about it. It was not that he was ranting generally what he does. So this is it. And if you think that Pakistan is not going to call out Trump, I'm so sorry. They are going to come and say, thank you. We recommend you for Nobel Prize for allowing us to actually continue to conduct tests, and you are a great hero for us. And that may sell with the radicalized society internally in Pakistan.
Let the Pakistanis respond. They have not responded so far. वो कहते हैं ना सांप सूंघ गया, they're on silent mode right now, but they let them open their mouth. The other thing is that Bharat should turn around and say, if America, looking at the global threat and looking at nations like China, Russia, Pakistan and North Korea, is going to start testing, we would also like to partner with the Americans and start testing for our own regional safety. Bharat should make that statement. We should say it openly, and since America and Donald Trump is being open, Bharat will be open too. And we will not do things behind the back, like on the sly, like nations that Donald Trump has said. Let's try and get a little more aggressive on our diplomacy and the way we are. That's a suggestion that's also coming to the fore. I've run out of time. I thank you. Thank you to all our guests. Always a pleasure speaking with you here on The Right Stand. Thank you for watching. Namaste.